This is Trophy Gold, the Lives of the Sisters campaign. We're in the middle of Hearthfire, and I suspect we'll be starting up an incursion as well this later this session. But for now, I want to do a quick, very fast recap for people watching the video, and then a little bit of housekeeping, just burdens and all that stuff. Well, actually, we're in the middle of Hearthfire, so I don't really need to know that stuff, do I? Yeah, forget it. Recap, then we'll start playing. Last time you wrapped up an incursion that was the party being held by this sort of very wealthy, like kind of dealer in ancient artifacts and rare artifacts at Iotho Bruno. We did the party. You got in, you earned Iotho's trust, which was a big part of what you were trying to do there. You learned about an opportunity that he basically has like a mission for you to go down into the old parts of the city of Ambre in order to find one of his exploratory teams that got lost or has not returned or given back any kind of word of what happened to them. And so Patience has encouraged you to do that. And so that's something that in our games time, you have like a couple of weeks before you're like a week before you have to go do that. And so you have some time to kill in the meantime. And we're in the middle of Hearthfire. And the last thing we saw in Hearthfire was you went to, is it Corcolic's favorite inn? I think the something Astrolabe, I believe.
The Silken Auspicious Salt Father.
Yeah. Oh, Salt Father. Oh, the Astrolabe thing's from another campaign. And so I don't know, I run so many campaigns. You're at this inn, and some different things happened in the inn, but importantly, for our purposes right now, we had this kind of off-camera scene of Ethelinda and her beau for the evening discovering a body in his room at the inn. I'm going to retcon that just a little bit because I want to set up what's about to happen a little differently. So we're going to kind of kick off with that. I'd said I didn't want to do any housekeeping talk, but I am curious if there's anything I need to know about in terms of conditions or just things hanging in the air mechanically about your characters that I need to be reminded of. That'd be great.
I'm just inhabited.
You are indeed by Editha, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I want to encourage you all. This is something that came up in another campaign I'm running. It got brought up hey, we have this dangling plot thread or this item or whatever from a previous adventure. What can we do to make that part of the adventure right now? And I told them, I'm going to tell you, that's kind of your job. It's your job because of Devil's Bargains and the risk roll, and you have the ability to tap into that stuff as part of the deals that you make for Devil's Bargains. And so I will hit that. I will tap into that stuff if I remember it. But one of the nice things about Trophy in general and Trophy Gold specifically is a lot of this is y'all's responsibility too. So, and you have the mechanisms via the risk roll to bring that stuff in. So, just want to kind of lay that out there for you. And so, I think the way this goes at the Linda. So everyone is downstairs. Corcolic serving drinks. Surreptitiously scribbling out the map of the sort of old city that the innkeeper has. If I recall correctly, Scum is in his feelings right now. Scum's totally in his feelings. Osto's being socially unacceptable as usual, and Ethelinda, you're upstairs with this sort of dandy character who you've been kind of flirting with all night, and who's been flirting with you as well. And I think the way this goes is you're going to his room, and he opens the door, and we see a man in his bed, clearly murdered. There's blood all over the place. And the dandy gets this like, the color drains from his face and he just gets this like shocked look, and his hand is, wavering. And I think there's like um like a maid or something like walking by, and she sees it between your shoulders or whatever, and she screams and is screaming for the city guard. And in short order, we can hear the city guard like responding, right? They're going to be upstairs in a little bit, all that stuff. And the dandy sort of takes your hand, Ethelinda, and he says, I have to make a confession. I didn't have any intentions with you tonight. I saw your robes, the stars, I recognized the pattern, and I thought perhaps I would bring you up here to ask you for your help with something, but I can see that, well, I'm going to have to get out of here. I have rooms at the Duck and Dog Inn. Come find me tomorrow if you can, and I'll tell you everything. And he runs like down the hall, jumping out the window to get away. What do you do?
I think I laugh a little bit. And then I suppose I guess the maid is running to get like guards or whatever, right?
She just screams. She's still standing there, and I think she's like maybe a little scared of both of you, right? Because she thinks maybe you did it. She doesn't know.
Oh, okay. Then I'll clap in front of her face and say, "Go get the guards, girl." And then when she does that, I want to check out the body.
Oh, you're gonna go check it out. Okay. Love all that. Do a hunt roll in the middle of Hearthfire. I don't know. If that feels weird. What do you do exactly?
Making sure I don't like disturb anything. I just want to sort of like get a gander at what's happened generally before the guards come, and then I'll leave again. I just want to see kind of like what the first impressions are of what's happened.
I think the main thing you're going to pick up on. I'm not going to make you roll. I'm going to give you this for free. The main thing you're going to pick up on is this guy and the dandy were pretty clearly lovers. And what do you see that indicates as much?
Maybe they have like matching jewelry, like a custom ring or something like that, and he's got the pair.
Yeah. I mean, apart from the fact that he's like laying in his bed as well.
Yeah. Yeah. A clue.
A clue. Good. I was also thinking there might be like some kind of like clearly like there's a cracked open bottle of wine with 2 glasses or something, something along those lines. But no, I like where you're going with that. Do you take that ring?
Yes.
Okay. You can add it is a carnelian ring to your found equipment. It's worth 1 gold. Are you leaving the scene of the crime, or are you staying there when the guards show up?
Yeah, I'll leave the room, but wait for the guards so they don't suspect me, and just explain what happened, so they're not all like,
Okay.
yeah, because I'm sure this maid is gonna be spinning stories.
I don't think so. I think the guards they do ask you, where did he go? Do you tell them, oh, he's at the Duck and Dog Inn? Or
No, I'll just say that he left via however he left quite suddenly.
Okay, good. I think I want to fast forward past this. I just want to kind of set up this idea that he was drawn to you because of your robes, in particular the star pattern on your robes. And he had something he really wanted to talk to you about in private. And now there's a murder. And so he ran. And he wants you to follow up with him at your earliest convenience at the Dog and Duck, or the Duck and Dog Inn. So I'm going to swing back down to the rest of the group. Is there anything else you want to do here in the inn scene? I think the party atmosphere, such as it was, is going to be ending because of the murder. But if there's anything else you're interested in doing, let me know.
Is there a way I can nick a bottle of this raisin wine that Scum seems to enjoy so much? Kind of.
Oh, the cordial, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I don't know, have it sort of for a surprise celebration later or something. Kind of like, without Scum knowing, sort of like pilfer one.
Yeah, absolutely, take it. Yeah, it's worth 2 gold. Anything else?
We were looking for the barkeep's lockbox, I think.
I don't remember this.
Am I misremembering that?
You might be thinking of another campaign too.
I think there was like the
Hidden stat.
The set goal.
Oh,
that's right.
You made it into
goal.
a set goal.
Yeah, there was a set goal. Find his
fire.
hidden treasure stash. Yeah, that is still a thing. If you all have tokens, you can spend them to find that right away. I think if you want. It might be kind of weird if you're poking around while the city guard is crawling around.
No tokens to spend.
You can always come back. It's always a live set goal. So.
It sounds like you want us to move on, which is fine.
No, you don't have to. No, if you just tell me what you want to do. I'm just saying it's as an option. It's not like if you don't solve the set goal now, you can't ever. So.
What do y'all think?
I'm good with moving on. I think Scum is just going to get drunk tonight, so.
I just think that everyone's going to be kind of on extra high alert because the city guard is there. That means the innkeeper is going to be very, very like kind of feeling some kind of way about all this, a murder at his inn and everything, So I think it just might be hard, short of spending tokens, it might be hard to like find the secret treasure stash. So I do want to wrap up Hearthfire though. Where were we at with Hearthfire? Who else has something they want to do? I think that was Corkalux, technically, if I'm not mistaken, the last go. Austin, did you have something else for Hearthfire you want to do?
I think the prudent move would be to spend a gold to open my crossed out backpack slot.
Sure, go for it.
So the slot that's crossed out is one of my like starting equipment, the big rope. When could I pay to retrieve that or buy a new one instead of clearing it?
Oh, I think that's fine. Yeah. If you want to just like unmark it, like and just have it again, I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Cool. I will do that.
It will count as that part of the Hearthfire thing. So you get to name a shopkeeper in Ombre apparently, and define their secret. If you're ready now, you can tell me now. Otherwise, I can come back to you.
I think I'm good. The shopkeeper's name is going to be Monroe.
Okay.
And I think his secret is that he is part of a secret kind of political organization in Amberay and is looking for support.
Very nice. Yeah, like that, like a revolutionary thing, or
yeah,
like okay, overthrow the king and whatnot. I'm into that. Go ahead and editorialize that however you wish. Ethelinda, do you have anything you want to do?
I've got some gold I gotta stash away.
Okay.
I would like to stash everything except the ring. and hold on to that.
Fantastic.
Because I think pawning the ring right after a murder might not be wise.
I think we're going to get a good education soon in how diligent the King's Guard is about investigating things like this. Right. So, yeah. Okay, that sounds good to me. Which choice do you want to do on your horde options?
I'll narrate a flashback showing your favorite memory from childhood. And I think what we see is just a young Ethelinda as a child being tugged along Instagram style, where like you see the point of view of her like a older adult and the arm is outstretched and young Ethelinda's running. And it's at nighttime, and I think it's just like a short scene where it's revealed that it's her mother showing her the night sky and like how to guide her way home using a specific constellation and maybe like a cool little steampunk telescope or something.
Okay, very good. I love it. I was about to ask if Duquesne wanted to do anything, but that doesn't make any sense at all. Nice. Good. Brian always has a prop. A prop for every circumstance. Let's go to Scum. Anything else you want to do for Hearthfire, Scum?
I'm good. I did everything I wanted to do last time.
Okay, you still show a gold in your thing. You either have to spend that or put it in your hoard or something.
Oh, I can't keep it.
You cannot keep it in reserve, no.
What can I spend it on other than equipment? Because I'd feel
if your
I don't think I
ruin is
want
already
to
at the
cross one
bottom,
of my options. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you want to like move one of your, you could move one of your slots down to found equipment, one of the stuff that's in there, and then open up a slot, or you can just stash it away in your hoard, or since your ruin is already at your starting ruin. So.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that. I'll just switch one of my items to my stash, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just take like your mechanical wings and put that in found equipment if you want, and then open up that slot. You also have to name your shopkeeper and their secret.
Sorry, I'm all over the place today. I think the shopkeeper's name would be Anita. And her secret is that she wants to gain Patience Davis's trust and secretly murder her.
Ah, very good. I like that. Get some tension going in the group. It's good. Very nice. Fantastic. Korgulek, anything else for Hearthfire?
I'm just going to ask this bottle of raisin cordial that I just nicked. Do I need to either stash that 2 gold that it's worth, or is this a thing to carry along for the time being?
Because it's equipment. So.
Okay. I don't think anything else then.
Yeah, the only thing you ever have to cash in is just like money that you find that has to be spent.
Got it. We had talked about in the past, there's a ritual I've never used, Mask. We talked about dropping or modifying that.
You're welcome to. If you haven't used it, yeah, you're welcome to change it.
Yeah, I'm going to switch that to Parse.
Okay.
It seems a little more in keeping with his little kind of analytical, clockworky nature.
Divine the true meaning of any word, writing, sound, sign, or symbol. Yeah, that feels like that would be very helpful.
Yeah, and then he's an antiquarian. It kind of fits the antiquarian background. So,
yeah,
and the kind of sort of attempt to track down Mashiko's descendants. Sort of. I don't know if you're okay with that. I'll switch to that.
Sounds good to me.
All right, done, and that's it.
Osto, you all good too?
I think so. I'll hold on to that diamond for the time being.
Sounds good. And Ethelinda.
Yeah, I'm good. I've got all my money stashed. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So I guess my question is, if you say no, I'm prepared for this, but I can do whatever you want to do, but I am curious, do you follow up with the dandy?
Oh yeah. And I'll tell everybody else too, just in case, especially he's proven that he is good at ambushing people.
So the Duck and Dog Inn. I want to know from each of you, as a sort of paint the scene question, how does the Duck and Dog Inn compare to the Salt Father? If it's a favorable comparison, why? If it's an unfavorable comparison, why? And think about that for a minute, and then while I look at my notes, and whoever wants to speak first, go for it.
Well, we established that the Saltfather had a lot of like highbrow drinks, as it were, like cordials and things. I think this place is an ale house. Like there are, and it'll be fancy ale, but it is definitely a little more general population.
Nice, thank you.
Is this the kind of place with peanuts on the floor?
Sure.
Make that crunching noise as you.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you a story? It's not super funny, but it's just amusing to me. My partner and I, my ex-partner and I, when we first moved to New Jersey, we were really wanting something that felt vaguely like home, which is Texas. And so we went to Texas Roadhouse, which was like the closest thing we could find. And like Texas Roadhouse is one of those restaurants where they like, you can throw the peanut shells on the floor, right, as you're eating and stuff. And so we're there in New Jersey, and there's this like mother and son, and the son is asking like, why are you like, why do they throw the peanut shells on the floor? And she says, well, honey, that's part of Texas culture. My partner and I looked at each other like, what the fuck? Stuff. Yeah, just like riding horses and wearing cowboy hats. Like we throw our detritus on the floor after we're done with it. So anyway, sorry, Corporal, what were you saying about this place?
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, peanut shells and chicken bones in true Texan style.
Indeed. Their horses hitched out front. Anything else?
I think the barkeep is especially gruff and unwelcoming compared to the one we met at Corker's Tavern.
Indeed. These are all unfavorable comparisons so far, seems like. Well, depending on how you interpret Ostos, I suppose.
This place is more favorable because it actually has things to eat.
Ah, indeed.
A kitchen.
Indeed.
And I'm hungover, so.
That's a good question, though. What time of day do you go? Is this like in the daytime, nighttime?
Probably the daytime, just in case, the guards are gonna catch up with him, might as well go sooner.
Okay. So you are, you see the dandy. He is trying to be inconspicuous. I'm curious, though, I think his inherent dandy nature can't help but express itself even when he's like running from the law. Ethelinda, how is this the case?
Perhaps it's the fashion to have your boots untied. Like a stylish thing that doesn't make
like I don't have to bother lacing my boots.
Yeah.
So you find him. He's there in the corner, drinking his ale. What do you do?
I'll sit by him and order something greasy for my hangover, and I tell him he better have a good story for me.
I can't remember if we named him or not. Did we name this guy? I don't think we did. I think we just called him the Dandy. I think I'm okay just leaving him the Dandy for now. He might be like even more, a little more reticent about giving his name and stuff at this point. He says, well, I do want to apologize that I misled you about my intentions. I simply wanted to speak to you in private because the thing I want to speak to you about is a little sensitive, and there are always people, well, watching and listening.
I should think so. Your friend was murdered.
Yes, well, you all gather around, so I feel safe that only you all are listening. And you can kind of all sit down and pull in tight while he tells you his tale. He says, my father was a professor at your university. I recognize your robes. He had robes very, very similar to those. I don't know if you would have known him. You might have. I mean, you seem like you might have been around at that time as a student. In fact, you wouldn't have been because you appear much older than you are. But he says, his name was Professor Lemwicket. Does that ring a bell?
My time at the university is a bit fuzzy.
He says, well, I assume if you're like my father, you have an interest in the stars and the heavens and celestial goings on, yes?
Of course.
Good. I believe my father is currently trapped or being held against his will or is deep in hiding in a local temple here in the city. I need to find him because my father holds a very, very large debt of service to a one Bright Teeth Azirio. And unless my father can be found soon, I am going to keep catching Bright Teeth's anger. I suspect it was Bright Teeth who had my friend killed yesterday. Perhaps you could go to this temple and see about finding him. There happens to be a really terrific opportunity coming up tomorrow night, in fact. I would be able to, I could pay you a small amount of money to make it worth your trouble, but really, truly, there's a huge opportunity for you all to go there because this temple probably has a number of valuable star-related artifacts.
I see. As he says that, my eyes look greedy.
He says, we have an opportunity tomorrow night. And by we, I mean you. This is not really my thing. The Temple of the Peerless Star has called a holy night. They have not called for a holy night in over 30 years. No one knows why they are doing so now. But people from all over have been gathering, and there are going to be great masses of people in the temple tomorrow night, hundreds and hundreds. You should be able to slip in with the crowd and search the place to try to find my father and anything else you find interesting. Or you could go in through the back, because most likely the priests are all going to be busy with their parishioners. In any case, it is a prime opportunity to infiltrate the place. I'm told that their most sacred rites, their most sacred objects are beneath the temple, that the temple that most people see and interact with every day is more of a facade, really, that the true worship happens down below. I suspect that's where my father will be.
And what information did you get that leads you to believe that your father would be down there now?
Well, I
Or
just
he
know
will
that
be.
I just know that from an academic sense, he's always been interested in this particular cult, and he has always wanted to learn from them. And I know that he went there for that purpose, and I know that he hasn't been back since, and that was several months ago. So, and Bright Teeth will not tolerate my father's absence much longer, and I am tired of catching Bright Teeth's anger. I don't care what Bright Teeth does to my father, to be quite frank. I just want to be left alone.
I see. Well, at a player level, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm down. I super want to see some more Star Seer action and artifacts and things like that. And
I will tell you that his payment is going to be nominal at best. He's mostly giving you this tip, but because it's in the city, because it's just a one-night job, I am going to make your burden requirement half. So it's half burden requirement. Anything over your burden requirement is stuff you get to keep, obviously. So.
Mm-hmm.
Are we within earshot? Can I?
You're all sitting right there. Yeah.
We're all together. Okay, sorry. Mm-hmm. I want to know a little more about why Professor Lemwick owes this debt to Bright Teeth. Like what that.
Well, it's a complicated matter, but my understanding is that, well, the truth of the matter is my father was engaged in some very, very experimental, almost outsider sort of academic work related to the heavens. He believed that the stars not only held the answers to great mysteries in the world, but that the stars themselves functioned as a sort of a map or a portal to other dimensions. And I don't exactly know the full extent of his work, but I know that Bright Teeth was very interested in my father's research, and I assume that he was working on something for Bright Teeth, but I don't really know the exact specifics.
Tell me more about Bright Teeth.
Well, if yesterday is anything to go by, he's a very serious man, and he doesn't like when his things go missing, that's for certain.
What's his role in Ombre?
Do I?
What's his role in Ombre? Like is he a moneylender? Is he a?
He is engaged in. I'm led to believe, he gets really quiet here, he's sort of the head of the criminal element here in the city. He has his hands in all sorts of filthy pies. Will you help me and yourselves?
I, for one, am interested in doing this. I can't speak for my companions, though.
I think Scum would be interested. Maybe I think he'd see that as a sign of fate. Maybe that perhaps if he manages to save this Professor Lemwick, he'd be forgiven for causing the death of Jimmy in the Knob Cube, perhaps.
I want to have a moment to confer with my colleagues privately, Mr. Dandy, if you don't mind. And if we can get a moment of privacy.
He pulls down his hood, which is like has very fine embroidery around the hem, and gets up and leaves.
All right. If we rescue this Professor Lemwicket, morally, ethically speaking, what if we just turn him directly over to Bright Teeth? Like, is there a better payout for us there? Or are we delivering this guy to some horrible doom? Like, is this a thing worth investigating?
Maybe we
Well-
should wait and see how annoying he is.
Yeah. Well, we
Truly,
would
might
be-
actually like him.
we would be essentially returning him to a murderer potentially, but maybe this man has a story or something. You know, who knows? We could make a more informed decision, as Austin says. How annoying he is.
Scum, I'll tell you that Darceline is at the bar. You noticed her at some point during the conversation.
I think maybe later. Right now, he's not really in the right headspace for light flirtation.
Indeed.
Maybe just exchange a polite nod and just be on his way.
Yeah. Indeed. She'll see you and she'll kind of give you a raised eyebrow of acknowledgement. So, the Holy Night is tomorrow night, as described by, or as presented by the dandy. You basically have 2 points of entry here to get to the subterranean portion of the temple. That is, you can mix in with the crowd, i.e. going in through the front and hopefully being able to search around unseen, pretending to be pilgrims, in order to find how to get below. Or you can go in through the back where the priests would have their kind of live their daily lives, right? You can kind of go in that way under a theory that the priests and acolytes will be totally busy with the pilgrims and won't be back there. So those are kind of your 2 approaches.
More likely to find some cool stuff in the back, I think.
From a player point of view, I think going to the back is more interesting, since we just had a big social focus in incursion before.
Usto can't lie, so he'd feel more comfortable sneaking in.
Do we have a sense of the scale of, like, do we know in advance the scale of this temple to know, like, if we say a few of us went from the front, some others from the back, would they be even likely to meet up?
You can, so basically, it's a pretty standard temple shape and layout. There is a sort of a long main sept area with prayer benches and an altar at the end, and transepts on the sides. The top of the temple, interestingly, actually has like a big kind of dome in one corner, perhaps some sort of observatory or something like that. Makes sense for a star-focused religion. And then the back portion is not as big as the front portion, but the back portion probably has lots more little rooms, right? Because it's got like kitchen and sleeping quarters and sacristy and all that stuff, right? So, yeah. But in terms of its size, it's a good sized temple. It's big. It's a significant religion in the world. They worship a specific star in the sky. The star is variously called by its proper name, Abrasax. It's called the Peerless Star, which is what their order is named after. It's also called the 9-pointed star as well. You can learn with a little bit of poking around. It won't be too much trouble at all, especially if one of you has a relevant skill, that it is the specific star in the sky stands out because it's yellow. It like is visibly yellow compared to the other stars, but it has been dim over the last few decades. And most people think the reason why they've never called a holy night since it dimmed, is the reason why they haven't called a holy night recently is because of the star has dimmed in the sky. But now they've called this holy night and the star is no brighter, but they've decided to do this. That's the big mystery here. Like, why did they call this holy night? Like, what is the reason for that? The temple's not talking. They're just saying they're just having their holy night. So,
all right. So with my skills and artifacts, Ethelinda's skills in sort of astronomy, do either of us know, like, is there an appropriate religious offering? Like, we should be bringing, I don't know, grapes.
oh, if you were to come through the front.
Just but also to kind of have it as a backup if we get caught in the back door, to be like, oh no, we brought the grapes. We got lost, sort of.
They're gonna, it's money is what they're gonna be most interested in as far as offerings go, and you can assume you have enough silver on hand to do such things. So, there are going to be, I mean, masses of people. It's going to be like dense with people in the front, which is good for sneaking around because you can kind of be someone and mix in with the crowd.
I kind of feel like if we go in the back to, a backup plan is just to pretend we're lost pilgrims.
Yeah.
If we get whatever.
I just found this robe and was walking around. I don't know. Everybody else had a robe on.
I'm picturing that the Conan the Barbarian movie where he's quizzed on what he sees in the reflecting pool. Oh, infinity.
Very good. I do have some questions for you all. I need to look them over real quick, though. Okay. Let's start with, I'll just tell you all your questions first, then we'll go on break, and then we'll come back and you can answer them. So a question for Osto is, tell me about the constellation that was brightest in the sky on the night you were born. Has it affected your life for good or ill? A question for Scum is a little harder because Scum is not from this land, but I will say this will be interesting. Scum, someone you know has recently adopted the faith of the Peerless Star and now serves at this temple. Who are they? Korkulek's question: what miracle or demonstration of power have you observed being performed by the Star Priests? And Ethelinda, were you taught to worship Abrasax, that's the Peerless Star, as a child? If not, how do your gods or the gods of your community view the star and those who worship it? Think on that. We'll come back in 5. Okay. Unfortunately, Arthur had to go, but so we don't have Scum. However, I did get the answer to Scum's question. And the answer is, the question was, who does Scum know who has converted to the faith of the Peerless Star and is at the temple or working at the temple now? And we were told that it is a character called Zethi, who is connected to the people who basically helped rescue Scum's family because Scum's family are refugees, right? So we're going to kind of say that maybe Scum is maybe investigating the situation via Zethi, which is where Scum is right now, while the rest of you are going to break into the temple and do your thing. So let's go back to the rest of the questions, though. Osto, well, tell us about the constellation that was bright in the sky on the night you were born, and has it affected your life for good or ill?
the constellation that was brightest when Asta was born was of the effigy, which is associated with Saint Barthas, the immolating flame. And while he doesn't think it's had any particular effect on his adult life, his parents were killed in a fire. And so he's always kind of felt a little bit like that might have been on him being born under that sign.
Nice, thank you. Korkaluk, you've witnessed this star priests demonstrating their power. What have you seen?
There was a miracle that many, citizens of Ambru witnessed, and led to them kind of converting to the religion. It was there was a birth of a two-headed calf, and the priests took the umbilical cord and somehow miraculously divided this beast and created two intact calves out of what should have been a malformed being that had two heads. And even I was mystified by it. I don't quite understand how they pulled off this strange miracle.
Interesting. So is it fair to say that the star priests have abilities or some sort of divine power that sort of affects, that has to do with either animal husbandry or the life sciences, that kind of thing? It's sort of...
Yeah, I was kind of leaning into something that's sort of a miraculous healing that would stun citizens. Like just sort of a thing that seems impossible.
Okay, good. I like that. Ethelinda, were you taught to worship Abrasax as a child? If not, how does your community or the gods that you do worship view the star and those who worship it?
I think I was not, but my mother was, and it's seen as sort of like an obsession. Like anyone who starts their investigations into the star just get obsessed, and I think maybe part of why I joined the school is to find out what happened to my mother. Who was
intriguing.
lost to the star.
Oh, good, interesting. Okay. When you say lost, do you mean she's literally lost, or kind of mentally or spiritually lost?
I think it would be more interesting if mentally and spiritually, I was caring for her at home before I left for school, and school's a way of finding out what her relationship with the star
No, that's
was,
good.
and how she became that way.
Fantastic. So what's the preferred approach, or are you going to go two different ways, front or back, with the crowd or surreptitiously around the back?
I vote back.
Yeah, the back sounds cooler.
All right, I'm fine with it.
You can split up as well, but that's perfectly fine if you want to split up.
I'd say stick together for now.
All right, so going through the back. This set is called the Sacristy and Priest Quarters. The set goal is gain entry to the basement. Now, this rear portion of the temple, not generally open to the public, consists of a few short, tight corridors connecting 4 large rooms, each of which is behind a simple wooden door, none of which are locked. These rooms are the priest quarters. There's a sort of common room where the priests hang out. There's the kitchen, and then there's the sacristy. Sacristy is where they store all the religious objects and tools that they need for their practice. Candles under glass cloches affixed to the walls sort of light the area. And coming into the back is no trouble whatsoever. There's like a alley that kind of goes around to the back, and this is in the sort of temple district of the city, so there's lots of other temples and things, right? And it's particularly kind of crawling with people, especially like in the front, right? But going around to the back, getting into the back is not that hard. I mean, you might have to like kind of bust a door or something, but you can otherwise slip in. And so you just have this like kind of, like I said, there's like just a few like little short tight corridors that kind of connect up to these 4 rooms: the priest quarters, the common room, the kitchen, and the sacristy. I'm just going to go around the table and find out what you're each interested in doing or how this is going to go. I'll start with Osto.
Osto's here for whatever treasure they can leave with.
Indeed. So where would you like to start your search?
Typically, priests are not known for, well, I guess it depends on the church, but they're not usually known for wealth. Would they have reason to believe that going to the quarters would be worthwhile in terms of treasure?
Not necessarily, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Then he'd probably start in the common room, considering everyone would be up front anyway.
Yeah, fair. Ethelinda, what about you?
I want to go to the gadget room.
Oh, the sacristy, yeah. And what about you, Corpuluk?
If we're trying to find entry to a basement, part of me wonders if there might be, I don't know, essentially a ring of keys or something in the monks' quarters or the priest's quarters. So I do want to check that out as well. Are we pretty sure we're alone right now? That nobody's nearby, or is this we could round a corner?
I mean, I think it's probably fair to say it's always a possibility that like some star priest or acolyte just comes back there for some reason. There's no one like patrolling or that you're aware of. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll split up. I'll try the priest quarter.
Okay. We'll start with the priest quarters. None of these doors are locked, so you can go right in. It is a long dormitory with about a dozen beds on either side. Each bed has a footlocker at the end of it, a sort of simple straw mattress and feather pillow, and like a thin blanket folded neatly at the foot of the bed. What do you do?
Is there any iconography on the walls, like decoration?
It's not so much the walls, but the floor tiles are painted very deep blue and black with pinpricks of yellow and white, each a sort of tiny representation of the night sky. So, and I will tell you here that the theme of this incursion is more of a phrase than a single word. The theme is stars above and stars below. And here we can kind of see that a little bit with these floor tiles.
I'll open up a locker. If any one bed looks, I don't know, more prominent, if it's like in a central location, sort of take a look at the locker.
Each of the foot lockers are secured with a simple lock, but if you have the right equipment, you could probably pry them open pretty easily.
I'm still carrying a mining pick. Can I kind of pop a lock with the tip of that?
Sure, yeah, I'm into that. Do a hunt roll, 2 dice.
All right.
Six light, nice. Take your token. You do manage to get one of them popped open, and we'll come back to that in a moment, what you find. The common room. Osto, this room contains a sort of long trestle table with chairs, and atop which there are sort of stacks of clean tin plates and cutlery. And there's a few comfortable wingback chairs off to the side with some little side tables for sort of like relaxing. There's also like a large tapestry hanging on one wall. What do you do?
Like to search behind the tapestry.
Take a hunt roll.
I don't think I have anything to assist me here.
You can just roll one. So.
A 1.
A 1. Well, if you had any tokens, you'd lose them, but I don't think you did. So you are making a move toward the tapestry. We might come back to that in a moment. When you hear something from under the table, some kind of movement, a chair is pushed ever so slightly. What do you do?
With a loose grip on his hammer, he turns and kind of slowly hinges at the waist to look underneath.
You see a young man dressed in sort of dull yellow robes, like kind of butter yellow robes. And he's like, who are you? What are you doing here? He seems to have been hiding from you.
Why are you under the table?
Well, I heard you come in, and I didn't know what to do, so I hid. And you don't mean to kill me, do you?
No, not right now, at least.
You don't mean to tell the high priest that I was back here shirking my duties, do you?
I will definitely not do that if you help us out.
What do you need? Are you looking for something?
We've heard that there's interesting things underneath the temple. You wouldn't happen to know the way there, would you?
You go through the basement, of course.
That makes sense. Maybe you could point me in that direction.
Oh, the basement's behind behind the altar in the main sept. There's some stairs that go down.
What's your name?
What's your name?
Osto.
Oh, okay. That was easy. I didn't think of his name. His name was going to be Pate. I'm Pate. I'm an acolyte. I haven't been here long. I don't really know any of the rites, and I don't know. This is all a lot. I have kind of a thing about large groups of people, and tonight is just really not great for me.
I get that. And he'll just kind of lower himself into a chair a bit across to, be more at ease.
He's still under the table.
You don't have to hide. It's okay.
He comes out. He says, "What are you hoping to find underneath the temple? I've never been down there myself. Acolytes, we're not allowed to go."
We're looking for a man.
Oh, well, that's helpful. Who?
His name is Professor Lemwicket.
I don't know anybody by that name. I really should go.
Do me a favor and don't tell anyone we talked, okay?
Sure. Yeah. Of course. I better. I should go I should go sweep something, or just, I don't know. May the star, shine on you. And he leaves.
Nasta will take let out a breath and then just head back toward that tapestry.
Ethelinda, the sacristy is furthest in as far as these back rooms go. It probably abuts the back part of the front of the main temple, like the kind of meeting in the middle, It's a small room, actually, with vestments hanging on hooks and several ceremonial tools arranged on shelves. There is another door opposite the entrance that probably leads to the main sept. What do you do?
I'll take some vestments for all of us, and then I'll just search for valuable stuff or cool things.
You'll be able to take, you basically have a choice. The robes are either these sort of buttery, light yellow robes, or the robes are like a very deep midnight blue embroidered with silver stars.
I'll get the silver stars ones.
The deep blue ones.
Yeah, the fancy ones. Yeah.
So 3 sets of those.
Yeah.
You can put those in your gear, and altogether they're worth 1 gold. And go ahead and make a hunt roll.
Okay. Five.
Take your token. You are gathering the robes, taking a look around. You hear the distinct clunk clunk of keys coming from that other door. Somebody's coming back here from the main sept. What do you do?
Is there a place that I could reasonably hide?
Maybe like behind some robes, just like,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying to do that and see if I can eavesdrop or something on them.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm into that. I think this is probably a risk roll. Osto or really Drew and Brian, what could go wrong here?
Well, Ethelinda has some embroidered star patterns on your own attire already, right?
Yeah.
So I'm picturing, you're hiding behind these robes and these. I'm assuming it's going to be a priest who's attuned to constellations. We'll pretty quickly see like the constellations don't match. Like robe A ends in a different constellation than it should. Something is clearly amiss.
Yeah, mine is basically that you get spotted. So
I was thinking maybe it's a little too similar to Pate's thing, but someone else is already hiding in the wardrobe.
That would be kind of amazing. I love the idea of all these shiftless acolytes not doing their job. Like they're just taking smoke breaks and hiding away from doing their job. Good. Okay, let's talk about your dice. Do you think you have an applicable skill or piece of equipment? Or you're kind of using the environment the way you've described it, so I'll take that if you're interested in that.
Sure.
Yeah. You've got a light die there. Devil's bargains. What are we thinking?
No matter how this goes, the only robes that you'll get are the yellow ones.
That aren't worth anything. Good. Yeah, I like that.
I'm picturing sort of the toilet paper stuck to your shoe conundrum that you, unbeknownst to you have something that shows you've been in this room dangling off your back, like you, I don't know, rubbed off some glitter or something that is revelatory that you've been hiding in the sacristy.
I'm going to play off Osto's or Drew's fail condition and say that there is someone in the wardrobe hiding. It's specifically Pate. Maybe this is like a little bit after he left the common room, right? He managed to get into the sacristy and then hide when he heard you coming, right? So, yeah, those are the options.
I'll just try it without without it. So
You got one light die. Go for
one and one dark.
There's no dark die automatically, not yet.
Ooh, a 1. So I will
If you'd like to
reroll.
go ahead and add 1, you can do this. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be 2-1.
Be risk 1-1.
Oh.
1 light, 1 dark.
A 2.
Still a fail, and because dark is high or equal, you have to stop. So
Damn it.
at least your ruin didn't go up though. We'll come back to that in a moment. Corklick, you managed to get one of these footlockers open, and I'll tell you that in order to like, you'll find a little bit of coinage, like just some kind of pocket money, and maybe like a wooden holy symbol, and some other like small personal effects. It's not worth anything on its own. Maybe if you were to pop them all open and collect a bunch of stuff, you might get something that's actually has some value. It just depends on if you want to like pop open how many, all these footlockers. Basically, it's a lot. I mean,
But no, like, tell all diary laying in somebody's footlocker. So
not in this first one, no.
Alrighty.
You can keep searching though if you wish. Get another hunt roll.
I've got a kind of another question. You talked about the floor had the decorative constellation-y stuff. I'm curious, is there like a trap door or some other like basically another way into the basement? I don't know about the first one, so I'm partially just searching on my own.
Yeah, no, I love that. So you're kind of searching the floor then.
Yeah, like is there a special 9-pointed star in the constellation and that has a ring in it? You can.
No, that's great. That's a great theory. I love it. Do a hunt roll.
Okay. Does skill in artifacts or anything give a second dice here?
I'm not really feeling artifacts so much. What else you got?
Myths obfuscation.
I'll take obfuscation. Yeah, like hidden things.
Right.
Sure, go for it.
5.
Take your token. No, there's you don't find anything like that. Everything, it feels all pretty like on the up and up as far as that goes. The tiles are, a few of them are chipped and cracked here and there, but for the most part, they're all, there's nothing that stands out as like, a thing that could be lifted or messed with in any particular way. I will tell you that as you're searching around though, as you're down there, you will notice that there is a footlocker towards the back far end of the barracks, of the priest quarters. There is a footlocker that does not have a lock on it. It's just closed. There's always that one person who doesn't secure their stuff,
Right, trusting priest. Let's take a look.
Yeah. Inside that particular one, it's more the same, personal effects, a little bit of coinage, not enough to equal anything in terms of capital G gold, wooden holy symbol. This one does have a journal though.
Anything that I can immediately tell, or do I need to sit and read this for a while?
If you flip through it really quickly, I will tell you that it actually does not have, there's no text. It's all drawings. Drawings of constellations, depictions of the night sky.
Sounds like it might be worth money.
You can keep it. Yeah, I don't think it doesn't have any gold value, but you can keep it. Yeah, might be have some other value.
All right, we'll take it along.
Back over to Osto. If you look behind the tapestry, there's nothing behind the tapestry. But the tapestry itself is interesting because it depicts a sort of ochre-colored sky. And because what you told us earlier when you answered my question, I'm thinking that you probably have maybe a little more knowledge of constellations than, probably not as much as Ethelinda, but probably more than Korkuluk and Scum, right? I will tell you that this ochre-colored sky, it's embroidered with stars that are supposed to make up constellations, right? Maybe they even have lines connecting them or whatever. But you don't recognize them. They're not of any sky you've seen. It's like they're either made up or from another world or something. But the tapestry itself is very finely made, silk, gold and silver thread embroidery.
How big is it? Would it be possible to roll up into a backpack?
Absolutely, yeah. So as you take it off the rod and fold it up.
I think he'll do that.
It's worth 2 gold. So.
And then I think he would try and find the others to tell them how to get into the basement.
Yeah. I owe Korkuluk something terrible, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I'm going to go over to Ethelinda, who failed her die roll. And you have stepped into the wardrobe where there are hanging robes, and you're just like doing the classic, cover yourself up, right? And the person comes in, they lock the door behind them. They are rummaging around for something. Like they don't know, they're looking for something, they're looking like, they're even kind of muttering under their breath, like they're kind of muttering. He's kind of muttering. He's like, where is it at? Where is it at? Oh, this is so preposterous. We were not ready for this. We were not ready for this. And you can hear the din of hundreds of voices, murmurings and whisperings and prayers coming from the next chamber out in the sept, right? There's a lot of people there. He's looking around for something. He's making his way around shelves, making his way around cabinets. He's going to get to the wardrobe pretty soon. What do you do?
So it's pretty noisy then, right?
Well, I mean, it's still reverential, so it's not like super noisy, but there's just like a din of noise, right? Of like many voices praying, whispering, and so forth.
When it sounds like they are searching for something that would be like across from me, and that their back would probably be to me, then I come out and I hit the back of the head with my staff.
Very good, very good.
And
so you're going to try to knock them out.
And especially if they were saying, I'm not ready for this, and I say, no, you're not. Surprise them.
Risk roll. What could go wrong, Brian and Drew? I think the worst thing is like the priest alerts the other priests, and now you all have lost the element of surprise completely.
Yeah, kind of similar in that they topple over into something loud and clangy that falls over. Same concept.
Yeah.
The priest might not alert, but is surprisingly nimble and responds quickly.
Stabs you to death. Okay. What about your dice? Using your staff, I'll take that as a first light die. Devil's bargains.
Ethelinda will recognize the priest.
That's pretty good. I like that one. Yeah.
I had a similar thing that's pretty specific, that this is your mom.
That'd be amazing. And also that'd be interesting because like she presumably looks about your age, right? Because of your magically advanced age appearance, which would be kind of intriguing. And she may not even recognize you, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the one where I recognize the person, and I'll leave it up to you who it is.
You have 2 light dice. I think I'm not going to make you roll a dark die yet. Go ahead and roll 2 light, since you have the element of surprise. 2 is high. Do you want to go ahead and add the dark die to that?
Yes.
Die roll is cruel today.
There
There you go. 6 light. You are able to knock the person out, no problem. Go ahead and describe that.
I think they're rummaging in a cabinet, and I just like deftly step out of the vestment wardrobe, and I just give them a good hefty thump on the back of the head. Maybe they're in robes, so I don't see, who exactly they are until they fall over or whatever.
Who do we think this is? What an interesting question. I don't want it to be Professor Lemwicket because I have other ideas for that. You wouldn't necessarily know what he looks like, but yeah. What are you going to say?
Is it useful this is Zethi, the husband of the guard that's come
No, I want to keep that off screen, the scum, for now. Oh, I've got it. I'm going to make it just totally fucking weird. They fall over. They do that sort of dramatic roll over to face the camera, kind of thing after you knock them out. And the hood falls back, and this priest looks just like the siren. But of course, that's impossible. But it looks like him, like Dead Ringer. If he was drenched in blood, totally identical. So
he's missing that glint of blood, but otherwise, I think I would probably freak out a little bit and look for the other people and tell them that I found somebody that looks like the siren.
I'm going to cut back over to Korkuluk. Korkuluk, you are down there going through that footlocker when you hear someone coming in. Out of character, it's Pate. He went back to he's going to go get some rack time instead of hanging out in the common room. So, but you're down low, so he doesn't see you right away. What do you do?
This is basically just a bunk room, right? Like a kind of a barracks, not a lot of places.
Like a military barracks with
Yeah.
beds on either side.
So I'm assuming not long flowing drapes beneath each bed would be easy to.
You could crawl under the beds for sure.
Thinking for the moment I would hide because I don't know who he is yet.
I'll let you crawl under the bed for free. I don't need a roll there.
Right,
I'll do that. Is not super. He's not exactly Johnny on it. Do you hide under the bed of the footlocker you were searching?
Yeah, it seems closest. Seems logical.
Okay.
And then wait and see what he does. Hopefully I can.
He walks right up to that footlocker, flips it open, and begins going through the stuff. And he's like, someone took my journal. I suppose that's what I get for leaving this unlocked. He slams it down and says, but how am I supposed to buy a lock when they haven't given us our remittance in several weeks? And he lays down on the bed, and he's just like, oh, I hate this so much. This is the worst. I don't care about that damn star. Fuck that star, honestly. What do you do, Corkluck?
I think I might play off my inhuman nature here and try and scare the shit out of him. Basically do the like hand coming around the edge of the bed like and see if I can scare him into just taking off.
I don't need a roll. I think the pateness of this situation takes over, and you can definitely do this. Just describe it.
Oh, all right. It's almost that creepy crawly spider kind of like coming over the edge of the bed, except that it's this porcelain hand with little, dried vines and twine, like kind of coming up. And I'll use my skill in mimicry to make kind of just a horrible, creepy rattling noise. Like there's more under the bed where this comes from.
He like says, "Oh fuck me! I take it back. Fuck! I love the star." And he like runs off. Osto, you hear the commotion because it's right by the common room, the barracks. You hear Payne cry out.
I'll basically follow him, hopefully to reunite with Osto and Ethelinda.
Yeah. Pate runs toward just like in the direction of the sacristy, because probably he needs to get back to his job, right?
One last thing, that lock that I broke off, I'm gonna tuck it into his unlocked locker, like kind of hide it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like frame him?
Yeah, like if somebody else notices their lock is missing and they happen to look in his, basically framing
the
him.
high priest goes there and tosses the place and finds the lock. And
who knows what'll happen, but
Pate's
on the chance
order.
Peyton's having a day.
He is indeed. So yeah, I don't think Pate's going to run directly to the sacristy. He'll probably but he's head kind of in that direction. Osto, you see him run by. He's clearly something frightened him. And then Corkluck is shortly behind him after that. So the two of you can be together.
That kid is having a rough time. And he'll just kind of relay quickly that the basement access is behind the altar, and that if we can get our hands on some robes that aren't yellow, we might be able to get through easier.
Well, speak of the devil, and it shall appear. Ethelinda, you managed to get your hands on some robes. You have knocked out a priest that looks just like the siren. What do you do right now?
Yeah, I would bolt out and search for my companions as well, and tell them.
Find them easily. Yeah.
I say there's a man that looks exactly like the siren in that room whom I've just knocked out.
I don't know what to do with that. Should we take him with us?
What, if anything, I would say we should, the siren was not a good person. What if this person is like the siren? Or what if they are like the siren? Should we kill them?
That's going to make our presence pretty clear to anyone who stumbles upon them.
But if it is the siren, well, I guess if it was the siren, I wouldn't be able to knock them out.
Did you hide him in the somewhere?
No, I came right here.
I want to peek and confirm, does this, look in the room, does this knocked out being really look like the siren?
Who all saw the siren? I think when everybody who wasn't Ethelinda saw him, he was covered in blood, right?
I think that was the only time I saw him. If I
Yeah,
don't
so I
recall
think
seeing
it's
him.
maybe it could just be Ethelyn's imagination, to be honest. I
Right.
think that would be a fair interpretation.
I feel like
Not necessarily true, but that, it looks vaguely like him, I suppose, but he's not covered in gore and viscera, so it's hard to say.
yeah. Should we tuck him into a bed in the dormitory? Since he's
This was all a dream.
in a way, yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe we could frame this one too. Sure,
Put
yeah,
him in Kate's bed.
yeah, we could yeah. Yeah, we could put them in one of the beds, and then they have vestments for us. So hopefully we can go into this ceremony and not be discovered.
I feel like we need to hustle, and I'm hoping that this isn't a. What am I saying? Here's my question, I guess, is the volume of robes that you saw, does it imply that there's a number of people of the non-yellow robed acolyte? Like, are there 50 or more, so that they won't necessarily know that we're instantly recognized? Like, there's only 3 people at the top of this order.
I mean, there were 24 beds in the quarters, and presumably the upper echelon of the priesthood doesn't sleep in those quarters. There's probably some other place for them, although not in this particular area. And so, I mean, and the number of robes were probably like half a dozen in the wardrobe, probably just extras. So.
All right, so it'll be a little tricky, but I feel like we should hustle pretty soon.
Are you gonna go around to the front dressed as star priests, or are you gonna go through the sacristy door?
Well, I would think sacristy door, but I meant hustle in the sense of I don't know when this guy's going to wake up, the knocked unconscious siren one. I don't know if the Pate acolyte is going to alert somebody.
Yeah, that's an open question. Yeah.
So I feel like we should try to get into this basement pretty quickly.
Yeah, let's put on the vestments and look for a way into the basement.
And sacristy probably about opens up behind the altar or near.
What a good guess.
I mean, the sacristy door was locked, but you can get the keys from the body of the knocked out priest. So
And
if you want, yeah.
I put the key ring in Pate's locker.
You take just the one key you need, and the rest is Pate's locker. I mean, yeah. So if you want to, you take the keys and go through the sacristy into the main set. The problem is you just don't know what's on the other side of the door, right? That's the main issue. Right?
But we got robes on. It's fine.
Is it possible to sort of, crack the door open and look out or listen to see if we can hear?
I'll let you have a hunt roll. Yeah, do you want to do that? Do a hunt roll.
All right. Sort of maybe skill in mimicry, attempting to be a priest-like figure in the, going about my work.
I mean, if you're going to step out a little bit, sure. If you're just going to listen at the door, probably not.
Oh, I got you.
Or peek out the door.
It's just I'm sitting on 2 tokens right now, and so I don't want to throw a 1. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Should I just peek out? I'm just gonna peek out. I'll do the whole mimicry thing. Peek my head out, see what's going on.
Take 2 dice. Go for it.
All right. So hunt 2. 2 1s.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
It was gonna happen.
Wow, the dice just said "F you." So you lose all your tokens. It's a little early for a break, but I do want to think about what happens here. Okay. You open the door, poke your head out. At a glance, you see there's a large statue right there, probably you're looking at the back of the statue. It's a statue of the 9-pointed star. And you also see just a huge swell of people in the sept, right? You can't see too much of what's going on. Immediately behind the statue, you do see a trapdoor on the floor. So that's probably how to get to the basement. No problem there. Boy, 2 1s. I feel like I gotta really wallop you now. You know, think what that means. I do want to find out what the other two of you are doing. You're just hanging out in the sacristy while Corculix looking in.
And we're just letting him peek.
Okay, good.
With 2 1s, it's almost like you shove me out the door and shut the door behind me.
I'm just going to keep it real simple. You see an acolyte. It's hard to tell at this distance. It could be Pate. He could have run around the back and come around the front. But you see an acolyte like animatedly telling another priest like something is going on, pointing towards the sacristy, right? Pointing towards the direction you're all in. So I think that probably the priesthood is alerted to your presence, even if they haven't seen you or know where you're at exactly. What do you do?
Sorry, folks. I think the jig's up. I think they saw me, but there is a trap door there. If we hustle, maybe we can keep down low, make our move, get in there, and hopefully have a way out.
Yeah, maybe we can bar the trapdoor once we get on the other side.
Let's do it.
The trapdoor is helpfully open because maybe they want easy access to it during this holy night. You can make your way down. You should expect that the priests might be maybe not on your tail, but they might come down there at some point searching for you. So that is a thing. And is your plan to how are you going to secure the trapdoor behind you?
Is there like a broom or something, and we could just snap it and then just like put it through?
Yeah, I'll take that. That sounds good. Yeah. But kind of put it through the handles so that it, that probably wouldn't hold it too long, but it would slow them down, I suppose.
Sorry, I feel a little lost. Are we propping it open or barring it shut?
I thought you were barring it shut so that they can't follow, but did I have that wrong?
Yeah, because it was already open, right?
It is open, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just opens up into some stairs that go down. So.
Let's go. Do we need a
Let's
source
get
of
moving.
light? Is it dark, or are there more candles?
At the bottom of the staircase, you can see the glow of candlelight. The staircase itself is dark, but it's not that far, so it should be okay. The basement is a new set. Set goal: discover the nature of the temple's most valuable treasure. Laughing in the chat for anybody watching the video. Okay, so yeah. The basement of the temple is a set of rooms connected by, again, another series of short, tight corridors. Candles under glass cloches affixed to the walls light the way. The door to each room is locked. And at the end of one of the corridors, there is another there's like an entrance to a stairway, which is wide open. But otherwise, you have 3 rooms behind locked doors. Osto, what do you do?
I think he'll start kind of putting his ear against the doors as they pass, seeing if he can hear any either priests or maybe sounds of someone in confinement.
Yeah, I'll let you take a minute to listen to all the doors. Go ahead and do a hunt roll.
That's a 4.
You get a token. I'll tell you that you listen at the 3 doors, you don't hear anything. You also don't get any indication of what might be behind the doors either, but you don't hear any like activity or anything of any sort. I will tell you though, that since you're doing such a good job of listening right now, you're hearing chanting coming from above, as you would expect, the sept of the temple. But you're also hearing chanting coming from below. There is some kind of rite or something happening even deeper. And the chanting coming from below sounds a lot more, or I shall say a lot less celebratory. It sounds darker, more serious, more ominous. Ethelinda, what do you do?
Can I use my translation skill to figure out what they're saying?
Oh, I don't need a roll, but I will tell you that because you have this skill, I will tell you that is the skill called translation? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I will tell you that it is a language you absolutely do not recognize. Never heard it.
Not even from my blithering mother?
Oh, yes. Yes. Snatches of it are familiar, have a familiarity, but you still can't make out any of it.
Okay.
Did your mother sing you this as a nursery rhyme when you were in the cradle?
I don't know.
A lullaby.
That would be creepy. Do we still have the key ring that we used?
I assumed you all were joking about stashing that with,
Yeah.
with paint, so yes, we'll say you do.
Can we try some keys?
Of course. So I think you managed to get one of the doors unlocked, and inside, this appears to be some sort of office. There's a large wooden desk. There's a wardrobe. Both the desk and the wardrobe are painted like a deep midnight blue, very heavily lacquered. And there's a small bed with a wooden frame, the same deep midnight blue color, pushed up against one wall. Appears to be some sort of office, perhaps the high priest's office or something like that. What do you do?
Is there any vestments? I search it.
Where are you searching first?
The desk.
Do a hunt roll.
Okay. What do I have? Yeah, I don't think I have anything that would help me. I use my hourglass to make sure I'm timely. I got a 6.
Nice. Take your token. You go for the desk, but the desk drawer is locked. Let's go to Korkluk. Korkluk, what are you doing? Either in the office or elsewhere.
Did you say there was a wardrobe?
There is. There's a wardrobe and a bed as well.
Yeah, let's take a look at the wardrobe then.
Do a hunt roll.
Another one.
Dice are really, really merciless towards you right now. Yeah, give me a moment. Oh, one other thing about the desk, which you would have noticed, especially since you would have noticed it regardless. There's like a little miniature spherical astrolabe on the desk. So like it's a sort of brass ball surrounded by concentric brass circles that can be like moved and shifted. And it's punched like with patterns that look like you basically move it to like look like stars or whatever, like, to represent the night sky. Little small thing, like a desk ornament. Back to Korkaluk. The wardrobe is open. Inside are 3 sets of very, very pristine white silk robes. You can take each of them if you wish. They're each worth 1 gold. They fold up easy because they're silk, if you wish to do that.
Okay, sure.
While you are folding them up, you hear, well, let me find out where you are, Osto. Osto, did you go in the office as well? Or are you back out in the hall still?
Yeah, he'll be in the office too.
You hear coming down the stairs, they've managed to get past your broom handle. You hear coming down the stairs some voices, kind of muted, like they're trying to, stage whisper voices. Several people saying, "They must have come down this way. Come on, search everywhere." What do you all do?
We disappear.
Osto's going to close the door to the office and just kind of press himself up against it.
Okay.
I was thinking about using Mirage to make us actually invisible.
Oh, that could be fun.
Or that.
Yeah.
Let's take 5. We'll come back and resolve this.
Okay.
So, Ethelinda, you were thinking about using the Mirage ritual to try to hide you all? Is that the plan?
Yeah, if they try to enter this place, then I'll try to do that.
You should prep the ritual because I'm sure they're going to go through all of the chambers down here. I like that a lot. You can maybe take help from one of your companions if you need it. What could go wrong, Brian or Drew?
The Mirage could make us look like people that they need to take with them, and we get taken along on their hunt for us.
Interesting. I would say that yeah, I like the idea of the Mirage causes them to have a misunderstanding about who you are in some way. Not necessarily like, oh, you are like I don't think they'd pick up on the fact that you're the invaders, but maybe something different, like that is not convenient also.
Is this room we're in a dead end room?
Yes.
Or are there other exits?
Yeah, there's no other way in or out.
Okay. I don't think I have any better ideas then.
So take a look at your dice, Ethelinda. Are you using either the environment, a skill, or a piece of equipment?
I've got words.
Mm.
Attunement.
Mm.
No.
Maybe one of your pieces of equipment could help you with the ritual.
Borrow my wind chimes, or
My mirror, maybe.
Oh, that's intriguing. What would that do?
it would reflect themselves back at them or something.
Okay, so like you use the sort of reflective power of the mirror to like almost like stand in for some sort of. I mean, like in maybe like the ritual magic involves like you have to have a component of some sort, and maybe like the mirror is part of that or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
What if the mirror just reflects an empty room?
Yeah, that could be fun too. And regardless, I think you got your die though for that if you want to use the mirror.
Sure, yes, I'll do that.
Devil's bargains. No matter what, one of the priests searching is the one that looks like the siren.
I feel like what Drew suggested was actually a pretty good devil's bargain, that we get brought along.
I like that too. Like you're safe, but it's because they think you belong. So yeah, that could be interesting. Because you are all wearing the blue star robes, right? Yeah. Do you have an offer, Austin?
I don't think so.
All right, 2 offers. It's either, yeah, you get the mirage works, but it just disguises you as members of the people who belong there, basically. And mine is the siren, or the one that looks like a siren is part of the search party.
I like the idea of getting swept into the search party. But I also like the siren thing. Actually, the siren thing might make more sense because they already saw us in those robes, presumably going down here.
No, not necessarily, because you were
No?
behind the statue, so they may not have actually seen that.
Okay. Well, I'll go with the siren anyway, just because I want to see what these other rooms are, and if we get swept along, then we're not going to be able to search them and get some coinage.
And take your dark die for the ritual, so 2, 1.
5. That's pretty good.
Yep, and you have to stop there. Your ruin goes up though, because it's 5 dark.
Oh, yes.
I have an idea for the ruin, but give me the ritual. Just what does it look like right now?
My eyes go white and I start speaking in the way that I do in a different language. And I think I draw like a circle on the mirror 3 times, and then I sort of like press it outwards in my palms, and it sort of like shines out and makes like a little bubble of what they would see.
Which is what? Do they just see like the empty room?
Yeah, just an empty room, I think.
Okay. You can hear them searching the other rooms, unlocking, looking, locking the doors back up.
Maybe
These
they
must be
forget
fairly
to lock them.
They must be fairly small rooms because they don't like spend much time searching. They just kind of look and then come back out. They eventually get to the office. They come inside, and they're looking around. They don't. Again, that nothing seems too weird. One of the priests is clearly the one that looks like the siren, and he like hunkers down to look under the bed just to check to make sure no one's hiding under the bed, and he cuts himself. I think there's like a stray piece of metal or something, that a joining or something. Cuts himself, and he's like, ah, and there's like blood, quite a lot of blood dripping down. And one of them says, "Careful, brother." And he like takes the blood and he like makes direct eye contact with you, Ethelinda, even though you're invisible, and just starts going. I better get something to wrap this up with. And I think your ruin is going up from just the shock of this whole thing, right? I'm going to even give you the condition, like unnerved. I even like haunted by the siren. Change it to that. Haunted by the siren. But then they leave. If you wait long enough, they're making their way towards the stairs that go down. And one of them says, well, if they went down there, they're not going to come back. We can go find the bodies later, I suppose. We need to get back up to tend to the pilgrims. And then they go and head back up towards the sept.
And I tell them that I knew it was the siren. They saw that, right? You saw the strange.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say you all didn't see anything unusual. You saw him cut himself, but you didn't see the like weird suggestive licking of blood. You can still say that, of course, Ethelinda.
Oh, I'll definitely say it. I'll say exactly what happened. And if you didn't see it, then you weren't paying attention.
Look, Ethelinda, I know you had your eye on that dandy, but I feel like you need to move past both the dandy and the siren. You'll find someone.
I was never interested in the siren as a companion. I was being hunted and haunted by them. You'll see.
It's late and we're all tired. Let's just get going.
Okay, so you're in the office. Desk is locked. There's a little miniature spherical astrolabe on the desk. The wardrobe has the silk priest robes, the bright white ones. I assume you're taking those. Corcola sounded like you were. Let's just keep going. So Oster, what do you do?
I think seeing the astrolabe, could I set it to the Ochre Sky Tapestry constellation?
Yeah, I think since the hunting party, the search party decided to go back, I think you have some time here. You can definitely set the astrolabe so that it depicts the night sky as depicted in the tapestry. That'll take a little bit, but you can definitely do it. Corkulik, what are you doing in the meantime?
What do you all think about busting open that desk drawer? Should we try to either pick the lock or crack into it? Like, I guess my question boils down to: are we trying to pass through as unseen as possible, or do we want to leave a little trail of destruction as we loot?
Well, they already know that there's intruders somewhere. I think regardless, they're going to keep searching for us anyway, so you might as well.
All right. I will try and basically jimmy the lock with that mining pick, try and break it.
You do that. Sometimes, Corkuluk, it's really, really handy that you are not human. Just like it's sometimes very handy that scum is not big, right? Because you begin jimmying the lock and a needle fires out of the lock hole and sticks right in your arm, but it does nothing because you're not a man. And so you're able to pop that out, no problem, and get inside the desk.
Fabulous.
Inside the desk is a sack of silver, in total worth 2 gold. You can split that up as you wish. It goes in your sort of your money portion of your gold portion of your character sheet.
All right, will do.
So, Ethelinda, anything else to do in here?
I don't think so.
There's nothing under the bed in case you look. Yeah, the room
Siren
is,
didn't see anything.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why you
Yeah.
would have. That's probably why you would have noticed, because he didn't. There was just nothing there when you looked, and there was nothing. So.
Okay. No, yeah, I think I would just go out and try a different door.
You got 2 more locked doors. The first one you try, once you find the keys, leads to appears to be like a sort of like a dry storage. It's a dusty room with dried foodstuffs, old rugs and tapestries, various like simple supplies.
Okay.
What do you do?
I think. Oh. I have 3 tokens. There's one other one. I'll spend a token.
Okay. Give me a moment. Inside the kind of sitting on a shelf is the temple's ledger.
Oh.
No intrinsic value, but worth 1 gold to the right buyer. So basically all their transactions, just, supplies, monetary intake, donations, that kind of thing. The right buyer might be the temple.
Yeah,
You can definitely take that.
And so otherwise it's just food and stuff?
You can do a hunt roll as well.
Do I dare? With 2 2 tokens? But we need 3 probably to get through the set goal.
Yeah, I mean, you can just walk down the stairs and continue on. The set goal is more like information based. So to learn the true nature, or to learn the nature of the temple's most valuable treasure.
Right. I'll just hold off and wait for someone to look at the other rooms and stuff before deciding if I'll spend tokens or not.
Asta, what do you do?
I suppose changing the astrolabe didn't
Oh, that's
reveal
going to take you a
anything?
minute. That's going to take you a minute.
Okay.
Go over to Korkaluk. Korkaluk, what do you do?
I'm curious about the 3rd room, but also I realized I've got this journal with constellations drawn in it. I might just consult with Ethelinda for a moment to see, are these constellations of this Earth, like, do they match what we know? Because the ochre one is foreign, right?
Mm.
So can we, I don't know, should we take a moment to paw through this book and see if they are real or artificial constellations?
You definitely can. I'll tell you, Ethelinda, based off just because of your inherent skills and study and learning, these constellations also are not of any night sky you know. And they also don't match the ones on the tapestry.
Strange.
Is it just crazy monk thinks that, they're dreaming these constellations?
Might be dreaming it, yeah, like a dream journal type thing.
Gotcha. Peyton's been having some dreams.
All right. If we're still stalling,
no, I think you'll spend enough time for Osto to do what he's doing. So Osto, you took the astrolabe. It was set to its own already sort of constellations, and then you're going to change it to be what's on the tapestry. Yes.
Yes.
You take the time to do that so that the bands correspond to what the tapestry seems to depict, or at least this, one particular view of the night sky. And And that perspective is as if you were the planet were the little central brass sphere of the astrolabe, right? You do all that, nothing happens. I'm gonna give you a hunt roll though. You can use the astrolabe as the justification for the second dice and the tapestry for that matter.
2 4s. 4, yeah.
Take your token. Nothing happens, but upon finishing the settings to match the ochre colored tapestry, you have a very strange sensation or feeling. Something just doesn't sit right with you. It's hard to say what exactly. It's hard to pinpoint what exactly, but you definitely have this like kind of uneasy feeling. I'm going to give you the condition, an uneasy feeling. Also, when you take your hands off of the astrolabe, they are covered in a fine yellow powder. What do you do?
Try and rub them on the robes and see if it comes off.
It does. It's also not clear where it came from, though, because the astrolabe itself doesn't appear to have any filings or anything on it.
Could I just stuff the astrolabe in my bag, or is it too big?
Yeah, I think you can. It's a little heavy, kind of, it's like a heavy desk ornament, but you're a big, tough guy. Yeah, absolutely. It might even be worth something. Let me take a look. It's worth 1 gold. So. What now? Group.
Do we want to spend tokens, or what are people thinking?
We have the key to the third door, right?
You do have one more door, yeah.
I would say door 3 first before spending tokens, unless you all disagree.
Sure.
Let's check the room.
This room is a library, a small, cozy room with rugs, comfy chairs, a stack of folded blankets, and a built-in bookcase along 3 of the walls. The books are mostly probably boring treatises on cosmology and astronomy and astrology. And there is a framed star chart hanging on one of the walls. Ethelinda, what do you do?
I'll spend 2 tokens and then look around.
You're spending your tokens for treasure?
Yeah.
Sitting on a little table next to the, you're spending both tokens? Sitting on a little table next between 2 of the chairs is a small silver octant and a small brass sextant. They're a very fine make, and they're both worth 1 gold each.
That star chart, is it also an alien constellation, or is it anything that we recognize?
If Ethelinda takes a moment to study it, or if you just compare it to the things you already have on you. The star chart is, take a hunt roll. You're asking questions. Take a hunt roll first. Then we'll talk about it.
Ethelinda, I think you're kind of acting player. Right?
Yes.
You can take it with 2 dice.
Oh, okay.
This is your jam. You're a very helpful character in a
3.
adventure like this.
Double 3. Not so helpful.
Indeed. The star chart is exceptionally rendered and finely detailed. It depicts the night sky of your world, but like inverted almost. Like things aren't presented in the normal order that these things traditionally are. That don't. It's like everything's kind of like a little backwards. Even like the way the constellations are arranged are like mirror images. I owe you something terrible. Let me think on that for a moment.
And I'm haunted by the siren.
That is true. I'm going to hold that in my back pocket for now, though. I'll come back to this. Asta, what are you doing right now?
Kind of hanging close-ish to the door to alert anybody. He's going to just kind of creep toward the stairs, or the stairs going down at the end, and see if he can pick up anything, because it's supposed to be dangerous.
So you're heading toward the stairs?
Yeah, trying to hear any sign of...
I think that's where I'm going to make my move from Ethelinda's mist roll. Just as you getting ready to step out of the library, you overhear a priest coming down, like back into this space. You can hear them muttering. They're muttering, "Bless me with your fiery light, O Abrasax. Bless me, bless us all, so that we can destroy these interlopers." And he goes towards the stairway. He's doing something. You can't tell what, because it's around a corner, but you hear something happening. And then he says, "There, that should do it." And he turns and goes back towards the stairs going up to the sept. What do you do?
Can Osto lurk closer and see if he can see what the guy did?
Yeah, take a hunt roll and tell me how you're searching.
Kind of sticking close to the wall, looking up and down, trying to see anything that may have changed or sticks out now. Anything?
Take a roll. Yeah.
4.
By just looking, you don't see anything. Nothing on the floors, nothing on the walls, nothing in the arched frame that is the doorway that just steps right into the stairs going down. It's open. But you do touch a particular part of the floor while you are searching. And a previously invisible rune is now perfectly visible and glowing, white, hot, and yellow, like the 9-pointed star. And it is swelling. There's just like this swelling of the light, and the space, the temperature is getting rapidly very, very hot for all of you. And I think we're going to call it a session a little early today and leave it at that. Let's do stars and wishes.
9-pointed stars and wishes.
9-pointed stars and wishes, indeed. Anybody want to start?
I thought it was really cool. Like all the star action, of course, is what I'm into. I like the twist with the dandy not actually being into Ethelinda.
I felt
And
almost cruel doing that, but then it was like, yeah, no, I don't know.
it was a fun little subversion, though,
Yeah,
of
I thought so.
expectations.
Yeah. I didn't want it to be like oh, you know, I mean, it would have been fine if it had been like, you know, a romantic or sexual encounter, but I just kind of liked more the idea of, you know, he liked your robes.
Yeah.
And had something he wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah. And I like the siren action, and I like the little jabs with Peyton, as the chat can attest.
Yeah, it was fun. For me, I really so this is the incursion that I wrote and published in Codex recently, and I've not run it yet. This is the first time it's being run. Did not play test it. I'm happy it's going well, and I say I haven't play tested it, but I've actually run this adventure in Dungeon World several times, and so it's been really enjoyable for me to see the differences and the similarities in the way it plays out. So that's been fun, and I sometimes just like a really, really traditional dungeon crawl, and this felt like such a traditional dungeon crawl. And I just like that from time to time to sort of break, you know, especially because we've been doing some like lots of social type things, and it was fun to have just like a good old fashioned dungeon crawl kind of incursion. So that was enjoyable for me.
A star for Pate from me. He's fun, and I like that he keeps popping up in exciting ways. Also a star for the kind of return of the siren. That was a neat little twist, and I like that Korkaluk and Nosto can't see it.
No idea where it's going. I have literally no idea, but I don't know. We're riding the wave right now. We'll go wherever it takes us.
And yeah, I'm enjoying the getting to see this incursion pretty soon after it was released. It's neat.
Yeah, it sounds like a pun, but for me, the star thing I like about this is the visuals. Like I got a kind of a mental image of the interior of this space, like what the sacristy looks like, what the hallways and rooms are like. Kind of, there's a good overwhelming decor in how you're describing things. And I also like that I still can't tell whether they're just delusional, made up star charts or they're actually, you know, cosmologically accurate somewhere. So there's, which I think that's something I like about a lot of religions, is kind of like trying to analyze like what in this is reality and what of it is just like I had a weird dream and I believe that it was a sign from God, sort of thing. Yeah, which is there's one thing that I'm wishing I would have done. I wish that in that library I would have looked for some of the books by Professor Lemwicket, like see if one of his publications was there. But
I'd still be able to do that. So it depends on if
Yeah.
you all catch on fire or something.
Right.
When we get back,
Exactly.
who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, the moment may be past.
Any other wishes?
Oh, I also really liked how I was able to do that flashback, and then it became really pertinent. Like it seemed just kind of a throwaway scene where yeah, Ethelinda was just a kid being like stars, and then suddenly I've got like a deranged mother from a star priest cult thing happening. So that was really fun too. So wish-wise, just finding out what's up with this place, I guess.
Yeah, it's not so much a wish, and well, in the sense that like it may not work out for your group this way, but the dungeon is really different if you go the other way. Like if you start in the sept, like going in with the crowd, it's a really, really different incursion. Like it I wrote it to where like it's almost like fundamentally two different experiences. And I don't know if you'll be able to do that other version of it, but it would be kind of fun if we got to see bits and pieces of it. I don't know how that will work yet, but the approach you choose has a huge like effect on how this plays out. And so that is not a wish so much as just a something that I'm intrigued by. So. Anything else, or Drew, do you have something?
Aside from wishing that we don't get set on fire,
Yeah.
Yeah, just looking forward to seeing the depths of this temple.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, well, wrap a little early. That's okay though. I'm gonna stop this.